Because none of this really matters. Because none of this really matters.
How you feeling?
Good.
It's Friday, or not when this comes out, but it's Friday.
Right.
How you feeling?
Good. It's Friday. So
You ready to record?
technically a 4-day weekend.
I
for
feel like
me.
we're better in a better energy
Oh yeah,
than the
because
past 2 weeks.
Yeah, there's one, we didn't have children all day.
right.
We weren't parenting all morning.
Mhm.
I slept until like 9:30.
Yeah. I had a what's it called?
Honey butter chicken biscuit.
Honey butter chicken biscuit from
I saw.
Wendy's
Fire.
with the wedge potatoes. They're like
I just drank in the mic.
Yeah, I know. You gotta shove them in your mouth at the same time. You take a bite of the honey butter, then a bite of the. We're on food again.
Let's move it.
Your mic. You're done.
My mic?
You're done. Yeah. Can you hear yourself?
Yeah. Why? Why you asking me that?
Because it's so far away.
You ain't heard them mixes. It's not like I'm sitting right next to the mic. Come
I
on now. Who you talking to? No offense, but you heard them joints lately? Your boy on it.
Well, your voice does travel though.
Hey.
No, we got good microphones.
That's
we
true, too.
purchased correctly.
Yeah, Menda. I'm just kidding. What's up? What are we on today?
Today we are on what episode?
75.
75.
Damn, 3/4 of the way there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.
75.
75.
75 weeks straight. Or 79 for us. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
A little below a year and a half. We're about to come up on a year and a half, and that's when Angela's supposed to come on. But I don't know. I'm gonna have to find, because I texted him and he said he's not available. We're supposed to record tomorrow, but we'll find a time.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
But what are we on today?
Today we are on 'tis the season of football. So
Yes, it's back.
yes.
ASU played NAU yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And they beat them in Tempe. They played 40-3.
Dang.
Yeah, it's mainly because NAU's trash. But they play Oklahoma State next week. But Oklahoma State is ranked 12th in the nation, so we might get our ass beat. But we're facing 3 ranked teams this year,
Mm-hmm.
and if we beat all 3 of them, we might be in the running in the top 25 in the nation.
For college.
Yeah,
Dang. When is the Rose Bowl?
that's like towards the end of the year.
Oh.
Bowl season, December
Just remember like it's like cold outside, like chilly.
or January.
Yeah, it's like chilly outside.
December, January.
In Phoenix, it's chilly.
Yeah.
In other places,
Yeah,
it's
we have like the parade here, the Fiesta Bowl.
other places it's like 30 degrees.
Fuck that.
Right now it's like 110.
I'm cool with like I'm cool with like 40 degrees in the morning and then like 50, 60 during the day. That's perfect. Like I'm good with that.
Mm-hmm.
But like 20 degrees, 30 degrees all day, fuck that. I'm good.
That was Maryland.
Fuck all that. But anyways, since it's football season, we are choosing our top 5
Mm-hmm.
football movies
Yes.
of all time.
Yes.
And this is one we've definitely thought about it. That's been an idea. Like, what about football movies or sports movies or some shit?
Mm-hmm.
And
Sports movies is different, but
Yeah.
football movies
that would be even harder.
specifically.
But here's the thing with football movies. A lot of them aren't that good. It's hard to find a great football movie.
Yeah.
There's like a handful of great football movies, but the rest, it's hit or miss for football movies.
Also, there's a
'Cause
lot
it's
of
hard
movies.
to shoot a football movie.
Yeah, there's also a lot of movies with football in it, but it's not necessarily a football movie.
I was just about to say that. I was like, a lot of them was like football is I don't know what the word is. Device.
Yeah. It's like as a background, as a setting.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but we'll talk about it.
We'll get there.
We'll get into it.
So, what have you watched this week? Oh, wait, before we get into football, let's address She-Hulk real quick because I don't want to talk about She-Hulk in the episodes we do later because we're going to be talking about episode 3 of She-Hulk like 5 weeks from now. So, She-Hulk episode 3, you guys watched it?
Of course.
What'd you guys think?
Too short still.
Yeah.
Too short.
I think it's because the pace is so good. We're wanting more.
This one made me mad again.
We're wanting more of it.
The pacing. It's like we got to a good part. Show over.
I was literally so mad because the Wrecking Crew.
I told him, man, did that.
Yeah.
The Wrecking Crew showed up. And I don't know about them a lot, but we'll get into it. But they showed up, and I was literally so mad when they showed up because I was like, it's about to end. Like, we can't have anything cool without it about to end. Like, there's nothing happening.
Go ahead.
There's nothing happening in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why don't we have the Wrecking Crew? This episode 3 is the Wrecking Crew episode. But no, we have to have half the episode be about a guy thinking he's dating Megan Thee Stallion. It's like,
Which was funny.
Sure, but it's like let's get to what we want. Like that, it made me mad. What like I'm enjoying the show, watching it because I'm going with the story of like the MCU. But it's like I'm tired of how I'm already 3 episodes in. I'm tired of how they're doing this because it's like. You should have brought the Wrecking Crew like halfway through this episode so we could get into it, and then once you about to find something out, then end it. But like, let's have some like flow. It's because I know like, oh, something cool is finally happening. Someone's being introduced. Oh, let's end it. Like, so like once the Wrecking Crew showed up, I'm like, they're gonna end it in like 30 seconds.
Right,
Do
but
you like Law and Order?
I never watched it.
Yes.
It just dawned on me. They said it at the very beginning. They were like, "Q Law Show." This is what happens in Law and Order.
Mm-hmm.
You get to a part, and it's like the dun dun doesn't come until like 20 minutes into the 30 minutes episode. And you're like, "Whoa, no fucking whoa!" Especially if there's one of those episodes that like chain into each other. They keep you like, but it's only 30 minutes, and it's been that way for 20 years, 25 years.
Yeah.
Now. This is She-Hulk. They're trying to really push this is a law show, and it seems like the Hulk is the backdrop. The fact that she's a Hulk is a device, not the.
Then that makes me more upset.
And I think that's when I'm saying it out loud, it does irritate me just a tad bit
Because of how much I'm like,
we don't want that.
Because in the beginning she's like
it's
this is a
cool
law show.
Yeah, it's a cool concept.
Yes.
That's a great like theme.
That's the fourth wall thing.
Yeah, it's like cool to have that. But like
Ally McBeal.
But it's like, you know what we're here for?
They know. That's why they're giving us all of this. They're giving us
they're not giving us anything. They're showing us. They're
giving us crossovers.
Yeah, right. The only action we got was from Shang-Chi, and they're showing a clip in the show from Shang-Chi, but we just got an explanation. And that's all we needed was like, oh, how is this going to cross over? And then we find out, oh, Wong was trying to prove himself to be Sorcerer Supreme. And it's like, okay, we got the answer. That was all we got from Wong. Like, what? Like, now... But then the Wrecking Crew came, and then they were there for, like, just one little scene. And then we're like, okay, we'll find out more about them hopefully later, next episode. But it's like, why didn't they come way earlier? They spent like the entire episode with like the elf, the shapeshifter, which was like cool and interesting. I was like, oh, this might turn into like something, but it just kind of was so playful the entire thing, where it's just like, I want more. Like, it's all fun and cool to watch, but it's like, I actually want something cool to happen.
Right, and
like
I think that's like when the Wrecking
cool
Crew came in at the end. First of all, she beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
And then they were
like... I
like...
thought that was funny, where she's like, oh, yeah, and turned into the Hulk.
Yeah. But they were trying to get her blood.
Yeah.
That was the whole, like, whole thing.
It's going to be... the problem with everything we're saying is that they know that. Because she said it. She was like, is this going to be one of those shows where somebody shows up every single episode from all of your favorite movies? And you're like, Well, now you're just like making fun of us
Yeah,
at this
but
point.
they're still doing it.
Yes.
That's the thing.
That's the thing.
Because
That's
people
what-
still want it.
It has to be a flip at some point where we're like, oh, okay, all right.
And that's why I'm mad right now, because that's why we're speaking about it when episode 3 just came out.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if the last half of the show or whatever, last 2/3 of the show isn't completely flipped, then it's like this was kind of a waste of like time. Like you could have done so much with like 8 episodes of She-Hulk.
Yeah, but we just don't know where it's going.
They still are Marvel. They will get.
Right.
They get us like that. A
We
lot.
still don't know where it's going. So all of this could be leading up to Abomination and her fighting.
Yeah,
You
know?
because here's the difference. Me and Tatiana are restarting Moon Knight.
Okay.
Great show.
It is.
In the first episode, you get a look at Ethan Hawke and his character.
Mm-hmm.
First shot is him.
Great shot too.
The first,
Nutbag.
like the first shot is him, and you see him, and then you see Oscar Isaac, and then you see like how he is as a person, and then he's automatically returning it to the insomnia. And then it goes into an action scene, and then it goes into like there's so much that happens in one episode of Moon Knight. That could be
the second episode he fights.
the first episode. At the end of the first episode, he fights.
Is it the big dog thing at the end of the first episode?
No,
It's the people.
it's just the people.
Yeah.
But still, like you get a fight scene in the first, like it's so, I don't want to say it's so good, but it's so good you could make the first episode almost a movie if you wanted to. But like She-Hulk, we've got more in the first episode of Moon Knight than we did all 3 episodes.
But
of
I think
She-Hulk.
it's because we're going 2 different storylines here. Like we know who Hulk is. Like
But we're doing,
we know who he is and a lot of backstory from Hulk. Even though they gave us a little bit
There's a
more,
lot of-
like
you're saying a lot of footwork has been done
Yeah.
already for her.
so.
There's already a presence of a Hulk, so we don't have to introduce her as a Hulk.
And Moon Knight is a lot more like dramatic and a lot
it's
more.
a different kind of show.
It's a lot more
mental health.
intensity.
His character in general is a different dichotomy.
Right. Also, Moon Knight reminds me a lot of Tenet.
a little
Like
bit.
you have to go back and rewatch it to really understand from
To
the
pick up
beginning.
everything.
Yeah, from the beginning of, oh wow, this is what was really going on. Even though they do like a mini like montage, kind of back to the beginning, watching it all the way back.
Yeah, when you
full way
get
through.
every detail. Yeah.
But with Hulk, that's not going to be it.
Yeah.
If they really are pushing the law show thing, I think, because Moon Knight has
But
great
it's-
storytelling.
Yeah.
But it also might bring in the
great,
whole
it's
like
well-written.
mutant aspect of Marvel, because now you're dealing with day to
Somebody
day
did mention
interactions
that. Yeah.
with otherworldly
Emergency
people.
Awesome. I'm sorry, I keep saying somebody and they. I'm trying to start being specific. Emergency Awesome from YouTube said that.
So they're gonna start bringing in all these situations where real people, quote unquote humans, are dealing with these other species in interactions day to day. You just got gypped by a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
This is hilarious.
You know what I
But
mean?
it's a great. I think that's what made it dawned on me as you guys are talking about it. It dawned on me. I was like, oh, they really are making it like a law show. This seems like you can tell the writers are probably closer to our age because it's like this. It has. You ever heard of the show Ally McBeal? The dancing. You ever seen the dancing like CGI baby from back in the day?
I think so. It's vague.
But it's like Ally McBeal may have got cut off air when you were born, honestly. But
Maybe.
it was like this. There was a stint in like the early '90s where there were like 6 law shows on. I mean, there's always been like law shows, but like cops. But that was like Ally McBeal was funny. There was another one, Mac or something like that. It was a black dude, and they were a law firm, but they were more like it was more brevity than it was Law and Order, which has always been somebody got raped and murdered.
Yeah. Law and Order is crazy.
Law and Order is nuts.
2 Chainz was on SVU. I know that.
Lit.
I watched that episode.
That's tight.
He's a great actor.
So
Was he funny?
He was serious.
Ludacris was in there too.
Was he terrible?
Oh, and Justin Bieber was in there.
Lit.
I always wanted, like,
Hillary Duff was in there
I
too.
would love to be in an episode of Law and Order.
You
Like,
do that for your parents, bro.
but I would love to be in an episode, but I want to be. I don't want to be the main bad person. I want to be the person that's like working at a mechanic shop and be like, "Oh yeah, I think I saw a girl with a backpack the other day." Like, I want to be that person.
Yeah.
Cameos.
Dun,
I don't
dun.
like when they're the witness. I like when you're just like, he's like Snoop Dogg is just a drug dealer.
He's
You're
like,
oh shit, Snoop.
I want to be that person where it's
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, there was a little girl with a yellow backpack." Like, I want to be that person. That is like, I've always thought that would be like, I would kill it.
Yeah. I'd be like, oh, did you get that matchbook from this bar? And they're like, dun dun.
And then Nate walk in and Nate turns around and puts a glass. What do you guys want?
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah,
like,
I'll be just and it would fucking.
It's fucking
Dun,
Doja
dun.
Cat. Doja Cat's a stripper and Nate's a bartender.
But Law and Order. Yeah, I mean, but if She-Hulk is trying to go with the whole law thing, which they are, this episode definitely was. There was like 2 cases. I really enjoyed the Abomination trial. That was like a great, thing. But it's like,
What about the Meg Thee Stallion cameo?
that was cool. But it's like, I thought the cameo was cool.
I like it for her because she has always openly said she's like, I want to be in the MCU. So I was like, I like that for
Like, she
you.
loves anime. She loves like
I
quote
would-
unquote nerdy things.
I loved the cameo. That was cool to see her. That's dope. Seeing Megan Thee Stallion. But I didn't like how much time they spent on that storyline. Like, that could have been like not even A and B plot. That could have been like a C plot. Him getting catfished.
Well, the part of that was introducing that there's other people into
There's the shapeshifter, which is a great point.
from Asgard.
Yeah, which is a
New
great point that
Asgard.
you made of like the people, almost like people, their experiences with it. Because I've definitely thought of that. When that entered my mind was when I watched Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. Because in the beginning, when they're having that wedding and then that monster comes and destroys the city, I'm like, I wonder like if this is normal to them. Like, they're
Right.
at a wedding and they're like, and they go out on the balcony and they're just watching. And I'm like, is this like normal to them?
is
They're just
real
like, oh,
life.
here's like a creature from the other dimension. They're just like seeing this shit
The
happen.
snap could be looked at as like 9/11. Like how post snap to them is just like, dude, we just watched half of the world disappear.
Right.
Yeah.
A monster showing up through a portal is
They're also in New York, so
everything. is
majority
happening
of
there.
things that have happened.
Harlem.
Right.
The Qatar, which could
Avengers,
Chitauri, yeah.
2012.
Fucking Luke Cage. Everything has happened. Don't forget that Kingpin and all of them.
Daredevil.
The Hawkeye, yeah, all of that is still a part of that universe. So New York is just like, yeah, bro. Like,
Spider-Man shit.
Come on, dog. Yeah, Spider-Man. Duh. I completely forgot about that.
Anything that has to
Oh,
do.
fucking X-Men. They're from New York.
Upstate.
Yeah, like everything, like it
Damn.
happens in New York.
Yeah.
Right. So
Poor New York, man.
they're just like, what happens to the regular people?
Yeah.
You
Which I
know?
like. And
But
it's also very reminiscent of like a post-Civil War also, because there was a new Asgard in post-Civil War, and because I think Thor just picks up a piece of land and drops it in Oklahoma, and he's like,
Yeah,
this is
'cause-
new Asgard now.
Like then Civil War has like, it's definitely like reminiscent of what happens in the real world of how people even view superheroes. You know what I mean?
They're different. They're just
when
others.
Abomination
After Civil-
changed, like he changed into Abomination, and he was like, no, like I'm good. Like, I control
I'm
it.
just like Hulk.
exactly.
Yeah. If even more like her. Like I can on the dime, and he was just like, all right, and just went back to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And they were like, but their reaction to that was like, oh, he's a bad guy, quote unquote. You know, let's.
Yeah, because he's terrifying looking. He doesn't
Yeah,
look.
but
Yeah,
the
he
Hulk
does-
is just green.
But when you
He's
see-
like menacing.
Right,
Yeah.
but when you seen his face, it was his face.
Which is the first time I went back and watched the Hulk now, and I was like,
The Incredible Hulk.
yeah.
What? Oh, dude, it's so good.
I was like, this movie. I rewatched it twice. I watched it twice in a row.
People shit on. I don't know if people shit on.
No. I think they shit on it because
They shit on the
didn't know.
2003 one.
Yeah, they didn't know. We didn't know where we were in the MCU with that standalone Universal movie. You're like, is it a part of it? Is it not?
Yeah.
But now they're really letting you know, like, okay, guys, Universal said, Universal finally gave up the shit and said, "All right, you can go full tilt with the fucking Hulk storyline."
Mm-hmm.
But I do think Scar is coming because now that I signed up for Marvel Unlimited, just spent $80 on it
For the year.
For the year,
Yes.
And I've been reading. I've read World War Hulk. Great storyline, man.
It's awesome.
It's
Yeah, I
so
reread
good.
it in one night. I would talk to you
All
about
5 issues.
7. I think there's 7. Yeah.
Oh, there's 2 one-offs. From
Yeah.
Like
And then Hulk Gray is on there. That's a good one
mm-hmm.
because that's more of like that. I like Hulk Gray because that is more of like it has like a spy espionage vibe to it because it's like him hiding.
Okay.
When he first becomes Hulk, he's like hiding from the state and shit. Like that. It's so.
You got to read
It's
the
a cool
Immortal
vibe.
Hulk. That one is
Or no, that's not Hulk Gray. What I just said. Return of the Monster is the spy type one, but Hulk Gray is more of the psychological effects.
Yeah.
It's more of a internal story. But Immortal Hulk, I've heard of it. Like I think I've passed by
This
it.
is the one. It's more. They're calling it a horror because he's like is at night he turns. He's back to that storyline where at night he turns into Hulk, but this time they're like in conjunction with each other. So he's like I listen to my intuition, which is really the Hulk. So he goes places and the Hulk is just like he's taking down low level people, but he's sniffing. He's like something's wrong. Like I'm sniffing out like the Hulk's intuition is taking him places, and he's like something's like off. So they end up in one issue. They end up in this place, and this dude was doing like gamma tests because I think they're also doing that in the show too. Ever since the people see the Hulk, they're like, I want that. Even people in the real world are like, who would you be? You're like the Hulk. You can jump high, you can clap, you do all the shit. That's what they're trying to do in the Immortal Hulk. Is like everybody wants to like use gamma radiation as some type of like savior, or it does something for you.
Yeah.
But now you're getting like this. Each issue is like some level of something went wrong, and now we're getting into like the supernatural of the Hulk. It's like, why is he the way he is? Like I just read the issue. They chopped him up into pieces. He's in like they cut the Hulk up because they cut him up when he was because Banner's dead technically. Banner dies.
Because continuously I'm just reading the original, like the one that started in like 62. I've just been reading that like on the toilet. Just fucking issue. He's trying to take a shit, just read a whole fucking issue. But that one is like, because in different comic books, there's the one where he's in a lab, and then the gamma radiation testing goes wrong. But like in the original, they have like a gamma radiation. They have a gamma bomb.
Yeah.
And it
the
drops.
Immortal Hulk is that storyline.
Yeah, because there's like a bomb, and then there's the kid Rick Jones, and he saves the kid.
Yep.
And then he ends up getting hit by the gamma bomb, and then the kid is like defending the Hulk.
Yeah.
And then, but what's weird is in the beginning, it wasn't like if he's angry. It was night and day.
Night and day. So that's why this one is good because it's back to that.
Yeah.
Like,
Because at night
was mad. Hulk is mad that Banner did that. He's like, I didn't want him to save you. He was like, technically Banner, and then Immortal Hulk, they're like, technically Banner died that day in the explosion.
Yeah.
But when I came, I brought him back to life. So in this comic, Bruce Banner dies like, it's just only like, it's 50 issues. I'm only in like the 3rd. He's died like twice already. But when the night, he'll be in the body bag, and when night comes, guess who comes out? The Hulk just wakes up and spits out the bullet, and then Bruce Banner just wakes up the next day, and he's like, "Do you know what?" Because
they try to do that in the Incredible Hulk, but that was a deleted scene.
Yeah,
and then
he mentions it in Avengers. He was like, "I spit the bullet out." And he was like, "I shot myself," and the other guy spit the bullet out.
Yeah.
So he's trying to, even though in this one the Hulk is even trying to figure out. He's like, "Am I fucking immortal? Like, can I be killed?" And it's starting to seem like he can't. Like,
yeah.
And they're trying. He's even starting to figure like, what the fuck is going on?
And then that's also where that saying came from when Black Widow is like, the sun is going down. That's what that all came from.
It's time for you to
let's.
Time for you
that's
to go
wild.
back. Reading the comic books does make you realize like these guys have to pull from so many
everything
storylines to give us Thor: Love and Thunder and Thor. Right, they had to until they're able to make them cross over properly and keep the comic book fans happy.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh, you really are like pulling from each
Every
story arc.
any series, like
Anyone, the originals, the one-offs, the anything.
yeah, and that's why I'm excited they're going into when they do that, when they do go towards Eternals, which wasn't the best Marvel movie, but they're going towards that.
Yeah.
Or
Too
Guardians of the
early.
Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man, where they're going towards that real late 60s, early 70s, when Jack Kirby really started going to the more like psychedelic era.
Right,
of
because they're
Marvel.
gonna go. Didn't you? Weren't we talking about them going back to Iron Man's dad, Tony Stark's dad?
Oh, because I was reading.
There is a rumor. Sorry, I just interrupted, but
No,
there
please, go
there
ahead.
is a rumor that the Fantastic Four is going to be a period piece, the 60s.
Yeah.
So I remember Rob saying that that's where they might intertwine with Howard Stark.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was just reading something.
Or
I
yeah,
was reading somebody's biography. I read characters' biography because Marvel, if you go on like them websites, they give you like their entire, especially the big characters.
Yeah.
There's like 7 pages of history. Like Wolverine is
like almost like a wiki page.
It's
Yeah.
literally what it is. It's a wiki of Marvel characters.
That's
so
crazy.
you can read like and they give you references of each issue. I read those a lot.
There's like Cliff Notes.
Yes,
Mhm.
it is. Since I was like a teenager, I've been doing that.
I remember because they have that for like Star Wars.
Yes.
And
yes, exactly.
And they have it's like they were born on this day and
Mhm.
or Harry
Yeah.
Potter. They
Harry
have that.
Potter.
Like that's their time period in Star Wars is BBY, like how we have AD and BC.
Mhm.
There's just like before Battle of Yurgen or something like that. So that's
Something
like
that.
everything that we know now is like BBY, and there was a whole bunch of shit before that. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
But what was I saying?
With Mendel, the
Howard
60s.
Stark.
Howard Stark, because I was just reading about Howard Stark and how, because they even, of course, they touched on it in Captain America that he's a part of all of this way more than you think. Howard Stark is
Right.
a part of the whole like Shield superhero.
Yeah, even more
Mhm.
than they presented in Captain America.
Yes, even more like.
Because in the first Captain America, they made him seem like he was just like a little cog in the machine.
Mm-hmm.
But he
Watched
was,
that other day too.
But he's so that's what I was getting at. They were like, there was a comics line of like him dealing with the Shield and stuff, and Tony Stark is about to die inside the womb, and he's like, he goes to somebody because he knows about magic, obviously, and he was like, I don't really deal with it, but blah blah blah, and then in the comic book, the dude says, I have to save this kid because he's gonna be the savior of the earth one day, and I was like, that's exactly where they pulled him doing the snap from. They were like, you have to live in order to one day
yeah, that's some
save
Doctor
everyone.
Strange shit. Or the fucking Sorcerer Supreme shit. Damn. Except in the Infinity Comics, when fucking Tony Stark actually died, when Thanos rips his shit in half, rips his body in half, I was like, we would not be able to handle
No.
that if they showed that in the
But they gave us a little bit in
Doctor Strange. When she was
everything that they do. That's what we were saying last week. I was like, all of their doing, I appreciate these writers because that means they're probably just sitting there on Marvel Unlimited on the iPad, just like all
they're
day.
like, pull that.
On sticky notes, and they're just like, how do we connect this?
Yep.
Because you have to think about every movie you might do in the future.
Yeah.
And now the shows.
And there is a heavy, cause like the more and more this She-Hulk movie or She-Hulk show goes on, the more it's like, okay, World War Hulk might be a thing that like pops up out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, we're intertwining.
They gave
Because-
us pieces of it in Ragnarok.
Yeah, because I do. With Ragnarok, I thought they were gonna do the different thing where it was actually Thor, because Ragnarok is actually like a punishment. Ragnarok was like the 40 days and 40 nights where you have to like fight nonstop. That's what I thought Thor Ragnarok was gonna be. But it ended up being like Sakaar, and then the actual like gladiator version of Hulk, which they really did.
Remember, we didn't know that he was going to be that much a part of the story because he disappeared after Age of Ultron,
and we haven't seen him
And
since.
we didn't see him. There were like 3 movies in between that and Thor Ragnarok. Maybe even more
I
between
think,
that and Thor
yeah,
Ragnarok.
because Thor Ragnarok came out in like 2018.
Yeah, cause
right before
Mhm.
Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Age of Ultron was
like 2015.
Yeah.
I want to say. So that's like
So
3 years
yeah,
of
if we
no...
Get, if we get 6 months, yeah. So we got 6 movies probably in between
with zero Hulk.
They wouldn't even mention him barely.
Yeah. And so, and then
Like
when
he's
he came
off
back,
planet.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he came back, that's when, or that when we saw him, and then he turns back into Bruce Banner. He's like, I've been Hulk for fucking how many years?
Exactly. And they give us that, and I was like, oh, they're really giving us World War Hulk like.
Yeah, and
storylines.
especially when the whole planet was like having the signs and they're painting their faces and shit.
And also, I like the fact that they technically just made Thor Beta Ray Bill, because Beta Ray Bill is like another Thor, because there's like multiple.
Yeah, there's
Thors.
there's Throg.
Yeah,
which is like the frog that's Thor.
like the Thor kids thing. That's why I love that. I was like, if you just know an inkling of the comic books, you're like, they're giving you each comic book person like, here's a little here's a little. That's for you guys. The Wrecking Crew was straight out of the She-Hulk comics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the Wrecking Crew was in like what's cool about the Wrecking Crew is they're almost like they never had their own comic books. They was just like, they appeared in Avengers for a few issues, then they were in She-Hulk, and then they were in Ant-Man. They were like here and there. They were Thor's villains for a little bit. Avengers, they were in.
They called them cannon fodder. They were the first people that every team always runs into to prove, like, basically they're what they call, like, they're there to prove that these heroes are heroes. If you can beat the Wrecking Crew in your issue, if your character can beat them, you can write it any way you want to, obviously. Right. But like Nate said, they've never had their own issue.
They were just like here, and they were in every. They had appearances, which was like
so cool for them to show up, and they did the crowbar great. That's when I knew it was a
all the equipment,
the crowbar, yeah.
And the helmet, I saw the helmet, and it had like the shit on it, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And they had the crowbar, which is like the boss's thing.
Yeah,
right?
Because that's supposed to be like, the crowbar is supposed to be like Mjolnir level. It's supposed to be like knock you the fuck out, because Loki enchanted it just to fuck with.
I thought that was gonna connect with what movie? Was Spider-Man Homecoming? Remember the construction site?
Yes.
After the first Avengers movie, when they were cleaning up. I thought they were gonna try to connect that, but I feel like that was too long ago.
They might be from that group. You talking about like from what's his name?
Vulture.
Vulture. Yeah. They probably were in that. You could be right, actually.
That because when I first saw,
that would be a good.
I don't know. That's the first thing that came to my mind, where I was like, maybe, but I feel like that was like too far apart. Maybe.
It was too far apart in Marvel though, because they still keep giving us like. They're still talking about Captain America.
Yeah, we're still thinking in linear terms, Minda.
Yeah, but you already know it's a multiverse out there. It ain't linear. All right, we already know it ain't no such thing.
Talking about Captain America having sex.
And you're right about. I think this is, as much as I hope it doesn't let us down. I think this show is serving as a pivot show, like the Age of Ultron.
Yeah,
and because you're kind of just like, it feels like they're just getting it out, like they're purging the old, like
a little, yeah,
like they're just trying to like get you away from the old
Avengers. And that's why I want to like clarify, which is their She-Hulk and Moon Knight are the two of my favorites out of all the shows. I actually loved WandaVision. I need to rewatch Loki,
but they're still old roster.
Because the more you know, what's crazy is the farther we go with the MCU, the more important Loki.
Way more. You makes you want to go back and watch it.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You probably gave us something.
Reading the comic books and like watching these new shows and the new movies that are coming out, you're like, Loki was so important.
Now I gotta read. We gotta read the Kang.
Kang Dynasty.
Read the Kang Dynasty now,
because Kang is gonna be like he's literally in 2025 gonna have his own movie.
Probably.
Like,
he
is. Oh, okay.
Approved.
Like Avengers Kang Dynasty.
Dang.
And then there's Avengers Secret War. They're doing a like Infinity War Endgame thing.
What makes it very terrifying is that now you're getting into like Kang is just a person. People don't. He's just a regular human. He's a descendant of Reed Richards. Like that whole he's a part of that. He's from like the 32nd century or something.
Dang.
But he's like that lineage of like super intelligent. Like I think that's their mutation. I think they're actually like
It's like on the in the realm of like kind of like Peter Quill.
yeah.
Like he's like human, but he's like a descendant of like something higher.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you're also super smart.
Yeah, he's
So
like Reed Richards level.
He's the one who. That's what it's about. He said. Did you watch Loki? He
a little
said
bit.
that he's the one who figured out the multiverse exists. He's like, I found out the same time every single one of my other variants found out. And then he said we were happy at first.
Yeah, because Kang's the one that messed up everything.
In the beginning,
All the timelines he made it.
they're gonna blame all the shitty ass movies on him. All the X-Men movies, all the movies that happened before MCU, they're gonna be like those were.
You know what I did start watching again in the middle of the night was the original X-Men movies.
You got to
With-
sometimes.
Where I was like, I'm gonna start from the beginning.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie. Second and third one are still some of my favorite like
Yeah.
superhero.
Because there's
movies.
X2,
Yes.
and then there's The Last Stand or Origins, or is it because there's X-Men: The Last Stand, and then there's X-Men I want to say
I
Origins
think
came.
Last Stand is Origins is Wolverine, isn't it?
Is it Wolverine or no? It's X-Men Origins.
I don't know.
Wolverine. I think remember they were trying to do that. That was supposed to be like a series of
Yeah, because
movies.
Wolverine like branched off.
It was supposed to be like.
And then there's the Wolverine, and then there's Logan, which is the last one.
X2, X-Men: The Last Stand is the third
The
one.
Last Stand,
And then X-Men Origins Wolverine.
oh, so we were we combined them or
Yeah.
we
Right.
separated them.
Yeah, because that's what I was saying. I was like, I think X-Men. I remember back then they were saying X-Men Origins was supposed to be like X-Men Origins Wolverine, X-Men Origins
There was
Cyclops, X-Men
Storm.
Origins. Yeah, it's supposed to go like
Because and then Deadpool was technically off of that too.
Yeah.
It is a spinoff.
And then X-Men Apocalypse, Logan,
That wasn't bad. That was Oscar Isaac again.
Apocalypse.
That was Oscar Isaac again.
Deadpool 2, and then Dark Phoenix.
I haven't seen Dark Phoenix.
Dark Phoenix
But
actually wasn't bad.
But that's the reason I'm rewatching all of them is because I want to get to Dark Phoenix that I haven't
Phoenix
seen
isn't
yet.
bad actually. I remember watching. I was like, I wanted this to be bad. It was. I don't remember anything about
I
it.
think it's more. It feels like it's closer to the comic books than any other, except for First Class. First Class was fire.
Yeah.
Straight out the comic books. The
First
aesthetic,
Class was-
everything.
First Class and X-Men Origins Wolverine was
Yeah,
the
that was
two closest thing to the comic books I've ever seen.
Sabretooth and
When they're the brothers,
yeah.
Vince.
Yeah.
When they were brothers fighting in all the wars, like they literally straight like the strips, the shots where it's like you're shooting a comic book movie.
That,
That
was cool.
started that because the Russos and them, they took all that shit from the X-Men. Like the getting the comic shot. Well, no, maybe Spider-Man did it first.
Spider-Man, yeah.
The shot where he's on the fucking American pole, on the American flag pole, where he's fucking like on top of the building. There's the flag pole right there.
Yeah.
I remember that from a cover of Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah, like the X-Men movie, the X-Men Origins Wolverine. That I remember seeing that. That's the one where we had the bootleg with the no CGI in it. That's that one.
You know what's hilarious? You know
Yes.
that's a famous bootleg.
Yeah.
I was watching and listening to another podcast, and she was like, you know, I had this bootleg back in the day, and I said, if she says Deadpool or if she says Wolverine, I'm like, oh, that's like the bootleg that's like.
Because that's
The
the one my
bootleg.
dad got from work. He would get bootlegs from work all the time, though. Because you know who he worked with? Foreigners.
Right.
That's what she said. She was like, I'd be right there at the barbershop or something. She lives in L.A., so she was like, oh yeah, everybody had that bootleg. That is crazy.
Yeah,
That's
we
a
had
famous bootleg.
like no CGI. Because you would see like at the end scene that's
you
supposed to be
see
the
the
coolest
string.
thing
Yeah,
ever.
yeah.
You see them the wires and
And then the sound just goes away because they didn't put none of the stuff in, so it's just like a shot of his head
Yes.
and it just gets quiet, and you're
Yes. We're like,
like, oh, okay.
the first time we actually seen the actual movie, That was the best
It
movie
blew
ever.
my mind.
Yep.
It blows your mind.
because when you're watching the movie with no CGI, you're like, oh, it's probably so cool.
Yes. You're like, I
You
know
can
this
only
has
imagine
potential.
it, right? You can only imagine it in your
Because
mind.
that scene when it shows like him with the one blade,
Yeah.
I'm like, it'll probably look sick.
It's like,
It's probably the best scene in the world. But they're on top of like this big cylinder or something.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
I wonder how that looks.
Now that was a poor attempt at trying to combine storylines. Was trying to make Deadpool this multi-powered. They were trying to pull from what's his name, son, Wolverine's son.
Yeah.
They were trying to pull from Nightcrawler. They were trying to pull from.
It was weird.
Fucking, didn't have a mouth for some
Right.
reason.
Because he was supposed to be like a super soldier type of situation.
Yeah, I was like, y'all ruined it. They fucked that all the way up. That's
Yeah.
what ruined them not being able to. I'm like, because you didn't stay. That's not real at
That
any point.
at that point in X-Men Origins when Ryan Reynolds did that, I was like, oh, he's like going for it because he had the no mouth with the bald and the makeup. I'm like, damn, Ryan Reynolds is a fucking badass.
Now he took off after that
Yeah.
movie. I do like how they did that in Deadpool 2. He tries to do the same thing and he's like, oh shit. He was like, it didn't work this time. I was like, fucking
They
Ryan
had
Reynolds.
to. They had
Ryan
to.
Reynolds.
And then
He was
Green
like,
Lantern.
He was like a Green Lantern. He
But
was
that
like,
one's
I normally
like-
wear a green suit.
That X-Men Origins is like at some points that movie turns into like a horror movie because remember when Vince is like in that trailer with like the Carney that controls the power.
Yes.
Oh,
Remember when he's like
yeah,
sitting
yeah,
in there
yeah.
and the vibe of that scene, you were like,
Mhm.
oh shit, like there was so much tension in that little trailer and you're like, he's gonna fucking kill him.
Yeah.
The
Because
way
he was
killed
going
them, too.
around killing all of them.
Yeah, he was like, you always been spineless. I'm like, that's
That's wild.
wild.
That shit's wild.
That is wild.
But we'll continue with the She-Hulk talk later.
Yeah. Well, one thing I
Yeah,
wanted to
right,
add
right,
was
right, right.
with She-Hulk was the reporters and everybody, chiming in, paparazzi
There's
were
a
like,
big theme of like news and
Mhm.
media.
they
going
were
on.
like, yeah, we heard you got rejected by the Avengers. They said it like 4 times.
Oh,
So
I feel like I need to sneeze.
I think that they are trying to like push away from Avengers,
They're
and get
yeah,
to the
like
new.
they just make up random because like he was like, is it true you got rejected from the Avengers? And then like the other news lady is like, rumor that she got
Exactly.
rejected from the Avengers.
Because
It's
now
like,
you're gonna,
Exactly.
because now you're going to see, it's going to be the necessity thing again. Because now what's happening is that everybody kind of like, especially in World War Hulk, is like everybody's going to start judging them. They're like, what about the collateral? Now we got the Department of Damage Control.
Yeah.
They're like, what about all the collateral damage? Until again is gonna. She's even saying like, I don't want to be a superhero.
Right.
A lot of them are saying they're like, I didn't want to do this.
yeah, even the like, how'd you get the name She-Hulk? She's like, I don't know.
Yeah, like it just stuck. But they're gonna start. It's gonna be like when the Avengers shows up, or when it starts getting like next level threat. Be like, you have like when Wong went and got. Because I was about to say Shang-Chi. When Wong went and got Shang-Chi, he was like, "Come on, it's time to go. We got something to do."
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? I got a job.
Yeah.
It's like I got shit to do.
She was
And
like, oh yeah, and her too.
And welcome
Like,
to the
okay.
Avengers. That's what he said. Like, welcome to the Avengers.
Shang-Chi's
It's like,
gonna be badass though.
Yeah.
When we get going,
Mm-hmm.
When he
Shang-Chi's
shows up to fight, and they all show up together.
Shang-Chi's gonna be badass. I want to rewatch Shang-Chi.
Max was doing his
'Cause you know
karate
what-
moves yesterday.
You know what's cool is, like, out of this phase 4 we're in,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of other movies before I like speak too soon, but Shang-Chi might be the best one movie. It has to be the coolest one.
Until November. We'll find out. in
Right, I was gonna
Yeah,
say
yeah.
Wakanda Forever is coming
Yeah.
out,
Again, though.
Because we get,
but it won't be.
Fair.
because you know, when we get Wakanda Forever, yeah, like we'll find out what they're gonna do, but like storyline wise,
It's already been established.
Fantastic Four,
Yeah.
that's where you can go in Fantastic Four.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
We'll see.
Because they did, again, Avengers Infinity War or Avengers Endgame gave us they're going to have to start dipping into how long. Because even, Captain America, Captain Marvel, even Thor, he's like, yeah, I've been on Earth like 16 times, like 16,000 times before. I'm 1,500 years old. Like, even that level of like people have always kind of known about these super powered beings, but now this is only in this recent time in history is it truly like accepted and a part of like,
Right.
let's control this, let's make this a thing, let's utilize it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, kind of using like in the entire Earth as like a headquarters.
which is kind of DC-esque because in DC continuity, that's where Earth is. It's like what what's her name is, America Chavez. It's like
Yeah.
the linchpin of reality.
Yeah, the
Like
Star
Earth,
Child.
Yeah, like the Earth
Is that her name?
No, yeah, I think so.
I forgot her name.
Something like that.
I want to say it's Star Child.
But yeah, like Earth and DC
Something like
universe is like the reason why everything happens there is because
Isn't that what is that what the E stands for in DCEU?
no, extended.
Extended. I was like DC Earth Universe.
Yeah, I mean, nice try. Well, yeah, we at 45. Let's get into these football.
Oh yeah. So great Marvel talk. This could. I think you're right. I think you're right, Minda. Patreon, just Marvel talk would be great because I was about to say I don't know.
And also, so that way people can cuss us out because you know there's always levels of nerdom. People probably want to shoot us right now.
I'm
They're like,
sure.
You guys don't know what the fuck you're
Yeah.
I'm
talking
sure.
I'd be like, well, come on the podcast then, bitch.
I was watching something. She's laughing because I was watching something, and this dude, it was like they joke around. It's like a comedy podcast. They joke around and roast, but this one dude was like, the dude's name was, he was like, Tahir, shut your fat ass up. And I was like, like, god damn. It wasn't even a roast, it was just mean. He was like, Tahir, shut your fat ass up. It's like, god damn. You know when you just roasted somebody just say something just like,
Yeah, just wild,
Right.
like has nothing to do
that's
with.
what your mama got cancer. You're like, whoa, Jesus.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're serious. They're not even like, it's not even like a joking tone.
Like, you ever played Tony Hawk Underground 2? No, that's probably why your mom died.
That's DC, by the way. Having a dead dad in DC was the worst. Like, oh, you know your dad? I was like, yeah. They was like, he ain't here, is he? I'm like, god damn, dude.
the one tier.
Oh boy, them tears dried up a long time ago because they was throwing them at me like lawn darts, boy.
All right, I'm gonna go pee, and then we'll get into the football.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah, you can just leave. You don't take long.
You're done.
Did you watch any football movies, Amanda?
Yeah, I watched Any Given Sunday.
Oh yeah,
Last night.
I fell asleep. I woke up with terrible indigestion. All right.
It's because you smashed that
And
panda
then went and laid right down after that.
Immediately.
I'm 30 now.
immediately.
Boy, that joint said, you gonna wake. I had to take an antacid chew last night. I was sitting up smoking weed for like 2 hours. That's why I woke up. I was like, nigga, my stomach hurt.
Like, did you even go peek? That was like super fast.
You wash your hands?
Sometimes, no, I don't touch nothing.
That's what I say.
Go down the pants.
You tuck it under.
Like Roman.
What are you talking about?
Did we ever show you how Roman shakes his arm?
No.
He goes like this.
He like moves his stomach.
Yeah.
He moves his stomach. He just be like,
That's like not a bad way to do it.
because he was trying to wash his hands. He was trying to get out of there. So he was like,
You just gotta get the extra drip out.
Mind you, Roman's
for those who
Maxwell.
can't see, I was hitting the upper fupa area.
Yeah.
Max, on the other hand, he'd be standing there. He'd be like,
Max is wild.
That pee everywhere.
He
oh
is
my
like
gosh.
made
That
in a
boy.
lab.
The only thing that stops him is Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
He'll just be zoning out.
Yeah.
Thor Ragnarok. What
All day.
is? How is he enjoying She-Hulk?
Come on.
This is
now.
the last time we're gonna talk
Yeah,
about Marvel.
yeah.
But how is he enjoying?
Yeah. Everybody's
He's into
everybody's
it?
ready. Mhm.
Everybody. Zoe loves it. I loved it. I love all these shows for Zoe, like all the girl heroes and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
It is cool to have them see this.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and she's a lawyer. She's not just like, well, you know, yeah, Captain Marvel. She was an Air Force captain, so that was good. Miss Marvel. She loved Miss Marvel. I think,
and that's the one I haven't watched yet.
I think because she looks like her the most. She probably like thinks she looks. She was like, I love Miss Marvel.
I gotta watch powers, that one. Yeah. How good is that as far as like importance to the story? Is it a lot?
If you're not into the whole Young Avengers thing, then don't watch it. If you're not like to the Hawkeye, like
Echo, I haven't
Mm-hmm.
watched Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Echo is coming though. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're not into them, like the Young Avengers, who knows how much they might be trying to take over like the Defenders kind of spot, like low level.
Yeah.
You know, threats and stuff.
But that I want to say next year in the fall is when that Daredevil show is coming. That's gonna be 18 episodes.
It's gonna be a Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Dang.
The Daredevil series. It's gonna be 18 episodes. They said.
And they gotta bring back one more. You gotta give us at least Iron Fist, maybe.
Maybe
Because
they should.
He's very pivotal in a
he's
lot
Hulk.
of
Or I know him from World War Hulk.
Yeah, he's one of the few people that can drop the Hulk, like just crack out, just knocking your.
That's
ass
the one.
out.
Because did they put those Netflix shows on Disney?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, it's time for a rewatch.
Maybe Luke Cage. You can give us Luke Cage and Daredevil.
All
Because
the casting in those Defenders is like pretty much perfect.
Oh my God!
Where
What's
did
her
we
name?
see
Jessica Jones, Kristen Ritter.
Yeah. Where did we see Daredevil come up the last time?
The Punisher, they're recasting though.
Are they? Is John Bernthal not with it no more?
I've heard, or no. I'm lying. Punisher, I'm pretty sure is coming back, or they just announced like a year ago that it's like Punisher is like he's coming back
to the MC because it was too good.
Yeah,
that's what pissed everybody off. But we also knew Disney Plus was coming because they canceled all of those shows at like the height of their popularity.
Mm-hmm.
And
like
then,
5 years before, they're like, nah, no more.
And
you
then,
guys ain't getting no more.
Ghost Rider, they're doing a recast.
That's that because he was also in World War Hulk.
Yeah, he was in was he in? He wasn't in Daredevil. He was one of those Defender shows. Like he made an appearance, or he was in like Agent Carter.
He was in Agents of Shield.
Oh yeah, Agents of Shield.
Not
Johnny Blaze.
Not Johnny Blaze. Robbie Reyes is kind of he's taking over the mantle of like the Ghost Rider now. Robbie Reyes.
Yeah, I say
he's cooler because he drives like a fuck.
I do like
he drives a Charger or something like that.
I do like the gothic vibe of Johnny Blaze. How they go more satanic with it.
He is. He's more biker.
Yeah, like dark. He has a darker story.
Is definitely somebody from like he's like a Phoenix nigga. Like give us somebody from like the west side or south side of Powers, and
Love
that's
to see
Robbie Reyes. And then he's a Mexican. I think he's either an immigrant or a child of an immigrant. His brother gets into trouble. He gets into gangs and stuff like that. Yeah. So and like something ends up happening with his children. So he ends up selling his soul. Like so, it's very like.
Yeah,
he's from.
I'm excited.
A common, I think Latino Americans, especially from the West Side, will be able to like. People ask that they're like, "Where's the Mexican?" I'm like, "They're there. You just have to like."
Gotta look for them.
Give it a second. You gotta like give them. There's Korean ones. Amadeus Cho, because his mom was in Age of Ultron, so he might show up in the Hulk.
Yeah, much. There's a lot that's about to happen, and it's all kind of like gonna happen with this Quantumania that's coming out in March, and then this Wakanda Forever. Mm-hmm.
People are still trying to figure out who it is. The rumor really is Michael B. Jordan because it's Ryan Coogler.
I hope so.
Yeah, I really do hope. I hope they take him right from What If. I hope he comes through a portal and he's like, I had a change of heart. I'm good now. I'm Black Panther now. Let's continue with the. Can you imagine him in the Avengers movie? Michael B. Jordan.
That's what I was hoping for. He was a great Killmonger. Or
he's a great bad guy, but imagine him as a nice guy.
Right.
People love Michael B. Jordan.
Because I think he's the only one where it would be like, oh yeah, I'm fine if they recast. Like I'm completely okay.
Like there's no. It would have to be a rare.
Like how could you be mad at someone who already died in the universe? Mm-hmm. but like
True.
as the actor, just have him be T'Challa. Like I'd be fine.
And then you're gonna have 50. Hey, why did he come back? Go watch What If. It's on Disney Plus. Go watch What If. They'll tell you why he came back. In
Exactly.
What If, I'm telling y'all, he's one of the most powerful people in What If because he's so smart. That's what they tried to get across, and that's also why
Black
it would be
Panther.
a great. Because I think some people were kind of irritated that T'Challa wasn't as smart as they thought he should have been because he was a part of the Illuminati. So you're like.
Yeah.
You're literally a part
Do
of
you
the
think
7 smartest people on the planet.
If it wasn't for the passing of Chadwick Boseman, would he have been in Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness? Like in the Illuminati, do you think he would have been sitting there? Or
I think so.
Probably.
I think so.
Or
I think so.
I'm just trying to think.
Because Namor's coming.
Yeah,
And Wakanda forever. So it's
that is true.
so I think he would have definitely been in.
He probably would. Yeah,
I think he
that
would've
is
showed
true.
up.
I think I'm excited to see Namor. People were making fun of, Namor being in the movie. Like, oh, this is like the villain they're kind of like choosing.
I'm like, that's because people still see Aquaman. I know we're getting a super comic book. We gotta move on.
Yeah,
But people
sorry
still see,
guys.
Yeah, people still see Aquaman as like a bitch, and it's like.
Like this is name like
like first of all, Aquaman's not a bitch. Like let's just I want to.
He has the whole ocean behind
He
him.
controls 70%.
he's got
of the
Amber
planet.
Heard on his back.
On his back, I'm smashing.
You know what I mean?
My mama said I gotta hit this. When I found
Mama
her.
said. My
Mama said and Willem Dafoe is.
It's his trainer.
Exactly. When they were on the beach, you were like,
And all of his cutscenes from the Snyder cut were all wonderful.
mm-hmm.
All of his scenes from
that Snyder cut.
Yeah.
Scene when Bruce Wayne first meets Aquaman. That
was wild.
that
That was
first
great.
scene, I was
Shot,
like,
sound.
Mm-hmm. They were they were singing,
that was perfect.
and he fucking walks
And he
into the
just
ocean.
walks into
You
the
would have
water.
think like Robert Eggers directed that.
Oh
shit.
yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
It gave me huge
Like
fucking
Lighthouse vibes.
Yes.
it was great.
Yeah.
I wonder-
And then it was like-
she was like, are they gonna make another? If Amanda's asking me if they're gonna make another Justice League, that Snyder Cut movie was good. And guess what they said? Fuck no, we're not making another one.
They are making it's okay. Oh my god, I want to keep talking. Fuck. Okay, let's make this quick. But like, okay, DC. Now that we're on to DC, God, we're exposing how much we really love comic books. I don't think we've talked this heavily the past like 3 weeks, this much about superheroes.
Because we held it in until
So-
She-Hulk got here. We were like, don't talk about nothing.
Yeah, like, oh, we're good. We'll mention Shang-Chi. I don't even think we talked about Shang-Chi.
Not for at least 2 months now.
Oh.
I'm sure we mention Marvel all the time. We only speak of Marvel in the conglomerate sense of how much work it takes.
We never go into the movies themselves.
No.
Okay.
We talk about how
Or
much work
characters.
it takes to
This
keep
has
something
been a
like
year
that.
and a half of holding this shit in.
Right.
But
And we're
okay,
recording episodes today, so we can always still do football.
yeah,
after
we're
this.
fine. We're fine.
Yeah.
The Batman, the Robert Pattinson,
Mm-hmm.
rewatched it. It's still great. It's still so fucking good.
It really
And so,
is.
and then the Batman 2 is rumored to be a thing. It hasn't been greenlit for some reason. Warner Brothers, step your shit up. Like,
Green light.
I think they're scared, man.
I don't.
Because you know who you're already competing with.
Yeah.
That's the biggest issue anybody's gonna have with their superhero.
But like, you
IP.
just had like one of the biggest movies of the year.
It's like they don't know that.
It's like one. You came out with the movie. Everybody saw it in theater. There was
Yeah.
like memes about it. There was
Yeah.
TikToks. It was all over it was people were talking about the Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Probably up until Top Gun came out. From February
Oh yeah.
from March when it came out
Just watch that again too.
to like May when Top Gun, from March to Top Gun, everyone's talking about the Batman. I bet you there's gonna be a reprise. They're bringing the Batman back into theaters in October because of Halloween.
Somebody else is another one's coming back. I think Multiverse of Madness is
Yeah,
coming back.
that's coming back in theaters.
Because I thought it flopped. They were like, well, that shit made like 800
It made
million.
so much money.
I was like, oh, because what you go back and watch, you're like, it's not a bad movie. You can just really see the switch in direction.
Yeah, you're just like the CGI in the first half of the movie.
Yes, it's so bright in the beginning. It's like,
Yeah.
what,
Like those headlines of the fucking Marvel, the work environment for their VFX people.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, damn, because they had to like
say about that. Their headlines for the VXF people.
They're like on their ass, like they're like overworking them, and they're rushing shit out. They're not letting them like just do their thing.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, we have a release date. Do this shit all day, every day. Like they're like, it's like harsh working conditions basically,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why in I don't know if you heard about this when She-Hulk, they updated the CGI. There was like they showed like before and after pictures because the CGI in the first 2 episodes
wasn't that good. Because the
Remember-
episode, I was like,
remember when I
you
was
said that. You were like, she didn't look.
yeah, I was like, it just looks like they had her face and turned it green. But
And
then
you saw her on the screen when she was doing the newscasting.
yeah,
And you're like, I almost said out loud, I was like, she looks really like hulky now. Like,
yeah, she looks different.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to go
that's
back
what
and watch
happened.
it.
You can really see the
Yeah,
difference
if you
between 2 and
look
3.
look up She-Hulk CGI update, and it'll probably show you before and after.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was gonna say about the Batman is that I rewatched it; it's still super good. But like, they better do a number 2. But I was thinking, how it was weird. I was in the shower thinking about this. I was like, if they do a number 2, just don't make the same movie. Go more like fantastical. Go more like Mr. Freeze. Go more like the above.
You gotta give him some experience.
Yeah.
Like, since he's shown up, because that always seems to be a theme too. Like when heroes show up, then those people start to pop up more and more. So there were really no super villains in the Batman. There was only
There
he
was
wasn't
just
even
like
the Penguin yet.
Yeah, he didn't become the Penguin until the end,
And
which is like it's setting up a
Yes.
number 2.
Mhm.
But it's
the
also
Riddler thing that was just like, oh, you're just a fucking internet incel.
yeah, you're
which
just
was great.
yeah.
Which was great.
It was
Yeah.
like smart to do it that way.
But that's also what he gets him like that in the comics. Is like, you're a fucking loser. You're a C-list villain.
Yeah.
Like they played
Like,
that
you're the
really
Riddler.
well. Yeah, like you nerd.
But like
And I figure out all your riddles. You're a fucking joke.
yeah,
like
you needed the fucking what's that called? Rosetta Stone, just to fucking figure out your riddles because he's like did this shit in Spanish.
dumbass.
Oh yeah, I mean a little bit.
But Batman 2, if they make it, which is weird because they are making a Joker 2 with Joaquin Phoenix.
Okay. I liked I want to see what they're gonna do with Black Adam and Shazam because Shazam 2 is coming out.
That is coming out. I forgot about that.
Yeah, the Shazam. That actually doesn't, because
There's
Shazam wasn't a bad movie. Actually, that was the best. I told Amanda when we watched it, I was like, this is the best DC movie that's come out yet.
People do love that movie. I think I've only seen it once, so I don't have like a big connection to it.
It's because they let it be what it was. People were mad about Man of Steel because you're like, you made Superman kill somebody. That
Yeah.
bothered a lot of people.
Yeah.
I liked it, but that
That
bothered
received
a lot of people.
and like Dawn of Justice. I loved Dawn of Justice.
that is not, I liked it. I watched
The
it more
Batman
and more
vs
now.
Superman movie?
Mhm.
That was so good.
A great setup for Wonder Woman, which also was a great movie. But it was
The first
like,
Wonder Woman, yeah.
They were all trying to be dark.
The second one was like
Oh my
weird.
God, geez.
It was just like I feel like they didn't know what they wanted to do.
That was also.
That's what
I
it
mean,
felt
Amanda
like.
have also keep talking about. I think because we're American, we're very like we forget that we were in a fucking pandemic.
Yeah.
Like shit was shut. Some places
Yeah.
are still.
That's why
kinda
a lot
shut
of these
down
movies aren't that good. That's why there's no movies coming out now.
because there was no production for 2 years.
And that's why all
And
the
COVID
movies
officer is
that
still
are
a
coming
thing.
out, all the movies that are coming out are not that good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because they either shut down in the middle. You realize how momentum plays a large part in art.
Yeah.
Like how you need to catch that wave.
Yeah.
And if you lose it, like what's his name picking up? Well, who did the rest of Justice League, the first one?
Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon. It's like you can't come and pick it up.
Yeah,
mid-movie.
Warner Brothers or DC was like, we'll get the guy who did Avengers. It's like, okay, let me speak on Kevin Feige and how much of a genius he is. So Kevin Feige was a producer for not only the MCU, but he was, if you look at the credits, Kevin Feige was a producer for the Blade movies, and he was a producer for the original Hulk movies, the Spider-Man movie. Kevin
So
Feige,
he's been there the
he
whole
was
time.
in there. And so Kevin Feige having that direction. So when you look at the Russo brothers, this is what I wanted to bring up too. When we were talking about the Gray Man last week, the Russo brothers have this way of writing and this vision of like what they want to do with the Gray Man. And when you look at why I say the Winter Soldier is my favorite Marvel movie, because if you look at the Gray Man and the Winter Soldier, similar movies,
Okay.
Very similar.
but and then you have these set pieces that are really big and cool in the Gray Man, but you don't have the production of Kevin Feige setting up these fight scenes,
Right.
these cool shootouts, these fight scenes, these chasing scenes. But like when you have Kevin Feige hiring because you know in the Winter Soldier, like they have the stunt coordinators from John Wick doing the stunts in Winter
That's
Soldier.
awesome.
So it's
That's
like
awesome.
you don't have any of that at Netflix.
Right.
So he really.
That's the
Kevin
connect.
Feige, I knew he was a linchpin, but I didn't know he's like the reason why Marvel is.
He's the one like, okay, he's the one like connecting all the dots,
Right.
basically.
Make this movie.
Yeah,
right,
he's like,
right.
he's the one going to Comic-Con being like, okay, this year, he's the one doing the announcements. He's like, 2024, we got this coming out. Kevin Feige is the one that's like pushing it forward and be like, this is how he's creative supervision over, not over everything, because he also lets Ryan Coogler do his thing.
Yeah.
Because he knows he has Ryan Coogler,
Right.
the person who made Creed and the person who made fucking Fruitvale Station, how great of a fucking young filmmaker he is.
It's like that. With like their choices, you can tell Kevin Feige is a genius because now that has cascaded down into every choice that they have made throughout the MCU. Their casting choices, their choice of location to shoot, everything.
Like they are like them like Marvel deciding to be like, okay, we're gonna go to Atlanta to shoot our movies because no one else is in Atlanta.
Right.
Ever since MCU started, how many movies have been shot in Atlanta? A fucking million.
Yeah.
Like they have a studio there. Now they're building, like I remember that article you sent me, they're building a studio, or Ron Howard is building a studio here.
Bringing, and that's really good.
So it's like going to these B-list, C-list cities,
Quote unquote.
whatever you want to call them.
Phoenix is on its way.
And being like Ron Howard, the big fuck, he's been around for decades. Him coming and being like, you know what, I'm gonna choose Phoenix, and be like, I'm gonna start a studio here.
And the lighting, you'd be a fool not to be here. Your lighting.
Go watch Tombstone. And I said this like a month or two ago, but if you go watch Tombstone, the way the sun hits their faces there's nothing like it. They're like you can tell it wasn't shot in Hollywood, or it wasn't a set piece in the middle of Oklahoma, or like just the way
they were in Tombstone.
the way
Arizona.
the sun looks on film, like it's just pure, like that's Arizona heat they're in right now. So it's just like shooting in Phoenix is
Also solar powered. Because
that's never going to happen here. It's way too red. You got like another 15 years before they let that happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's privatized right now.
All right, let's go on to Marvel. Or not Marvel, football.
Football.
Where are we at?
An hour.
All right, let's make this quick, man. Just bust them out.
You don't want to, what are we doing next episode?
The draft. We have to do that.
Okay, never mind.
Are you guys ready for the 99 draft?
Yeah.
I'm fucking ready. By the way, this caffeine is getting to me. I'm only halfway.
That's why it was Marvel.
Yeah, it's 1 o'clock.
This is me,
It's
by
like
the
I
way.
went to the restroom and did a bump. I was like, so this fucking Batman movie. What is it? Disney Plus improves She-Hulk CGI quality in the trailer. We try to spot the difference. No, but there is
because
a
I'm
big
like,
difference.
I don't know
It
might not.
what exactly.
You could definitely. There's a.
What's the word?
She's lighter.
What is it, like smoothing or something? Like when they move, how the
Their
CGI
muscles
tracks on their like the way that the
Yeah.
CGI tracks their movement.
It was if that.
It felt porcelain
She
dollish.
felt like a video game, like you're watching a
Yes.
video game scene.
Oh, okay.
But when you watch her on the newscast, then you see
You're like
the
that's
cheek
almost like she's
structure.
wearing makeup,
Yes, exactly.
which, I mean, you know how I am. Just use practical. That'd be sick, Lou Ferrigno style. I'm out of water. There's nothing but ice in here.
Kool-Aid.
So is she on stilts? Is she on stilts in that? Or she just voice over
She's
a
probably
actress?
doing whatever Josh Brolin did to be Thanos. That might be what she's doing. I would
it's
have to
her
look.
face,
Where
I'll
they
to
have
look up behind the-
CGI face and then they have the little dot of where like
oh,
the
where
actual,
you're supposed to look.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, where the actor's supposed to look,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
with the green
Those
screen.
people are anybody who does it. You're a great. The dude from Jake Sully, he's an amazing actor.
Mm.
From
Avatar.
Avatar.
Yeah. Sam Worthington.
That's his name.
That has to be his name. Sam Worthington. Look that up, please. All right, man. The football movies.
Yep, Sam Worthington.
I need to go pee again. I drank too much water.
Too much water.
And too much coffee.
His name is Sam Worthington.
Sam Worthington. You're right. Sigourney Weaver.
All right, set up the football talk.
I wasn't even a football fan until, still not really, honestly. It's not fast enough. I'm a basketball product.
He said it's not fast enough.
It should be boop, let's stop, boop, let's stop. And it's like, Jesus. But then everybody who loves football be like, that's the best part about it. And I'm like, yeah, sure, man, whatever.
That it stops all the time, or it has like pauses.
I appreciate the chess of football, the chess-like structure where basketball feels more like checkers.
You're
Football
like,
feels more like chess.
Because you
Because
have to
it's
maneuver
very-
a whole set of people.
And it's very dangerous. A move can cost you a lot. It can cost you your quarterback, your ace, your lineman. It can cost you, people getting hurt. So I appreciate the game, but I'm definitely not a fan of football. I'm not a fan. That's not even a good way to put it. I don't follow it. It's too much for me also. Sports in general at this point in my life are just a lot for me. Because it's getting more complicated now. There's more rules. I don't fucking know.
They're turning into pussies, is what's happening.
They're turning into products.
Yeah.
It's very. I understand. I'm like, yeah, in the military, they're like, yeah, no tattoos. You hurt yourself, we're going to sue you because you're military property. The NFL is like, we pay you millions of dollars.
Yeah. But even the players are turning into pussies, I'm saying. I'm talking about the players.
Okay.
I'm talking
Explain.
football.
Elaborate.
Because they're turning into celebrities. They're turning into divas. They're like, no, pay me more. They don't care about the game as much as they care about getting paid, which I get it. If you're in that situation, get your money. But it's just like Dak Prescott. Okay, I'm talking football. But Dak Prescott asking for a max contract, or he's holding out when you're just an average level. I'm not saying Dak Prescott is bad. I say this all the time when I see him play. He's the most average quarterback in football. He does
everything.
He's just a solid quarterback.
Yeah.
He does. He's like the original American quarterback. Like you were
Yeah.
never good at what you were just like.
Like he's like Cowboys quarterback starter.
That's why they love him.
And it's just like you're just okay. Little interceptions, good amount of touchdowns, solid amount of yards. But
Big, handsome.
Yeah, he's just like, if he was white, he'd be on top of the world. Oh, that's all I'm gonna say. But
He's a cowboy though, so that's pretty close to white.
yeah,
Them niggas love him down there.
he did go to Mississippi
Come
State.
on now.
Yeah.
So it's like
I think isn't he married to a white woman?
I want
He's
to
half
say
white,
he was.
isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's half white. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
but and fucking shout out to him because he played a whole season and his brother committed suicide. So prayers up. But anyways,
damn.
And
These football players be going
He's
through
from
it, dog.
Louisiana.
yeah, Louisiana, went to Mississippi State and then got drafted by the Cowboys. Not first round though, no? Does it say?
Fourth round.
Fourth round, yeah.
2016 NFL draft.
Damn. And he did because he had a great preseason his rookie year. And they had Ezekiel Elliott. That's when they drafted Ezekiel Elliott the first round. And
them
then
two together was the
they were like, "Oh shit, this is the future."
yeah, because they said it gave them very I don't know shit about the Cowboys. I've actually made it an effort in where I'm from not to know about them. But
Well,
they're famous
yeah.
QB running back duos.
Yeah, they've
like-
always been great. They
Yeah.
had the Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith.
Yes. That's what I was trying to say. I couldn't
Yeah.
think of it.
And they always had the duo. Like 10 years ago they had DeMarco Murray and Tony Romo.
Mhm.
They always had
Mhm.
like these like good duos. And then especially now they're creating like the wide receiver, the trio.
Mhm.
They had because back then Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, Troy
Yes.
Aikman. And then 10 years ago they had Des Bryant, DeMarco Murray,
Mhm. And
Tony Romo.
Mhm.
Now they have CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott. And what's crazy is it's becoming into like a thing. If you wear the number 88, you're supposed to be a great wide receiver. That's like an honor for a number 88. Because Michael Irvin, Lynn Swann, before that in the 70s, Lynn Swann, Michael Irvin, Des Bryant, now CeeDee Lamb, all great wide receivers for the Cowboys.
Wow.
And it's just like wearing the number 7. If you go to LSU, if you wear the number 7, you're supposed to be the fucking man. Because Patrick Peterson wore number 7 there. Leonard Fournette, the running back for the Buccaneers, he wore number 7. Tyrann Mathieu wore number 7. There's like, if you were number 7 at LSU, you gotta be the shit.
Damn, basically Heisman.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So
There's a lot of numbers like that. 81.
you gotta be the man. Except for the Raiders, is because of Al Davis. He doesn't retire numbers in on the Raiders. Like he doesn't believe that any player is higher than the team. So he doesn't believe in like Bo Jackson wearing number 34. Like we're not gonna like let no one else like the Colts. Like people can't wear 18 anymore because of Peyton Manning.
Right.
But it's like, say if Peyton Manning was 18 on the Raiders, someone else is gonna wear number 18 because you're not bigger than the team. This is all commitment to excellence.
That's why you have a number. You're a part of a team.
Yeah. So there's like a whole lot, but why did we get here? Oh, Dak Prescott getting fucking paid. But it's just like, yeah, he's not a terrible quarterback, but like if you look on paper, he's a solid quarterback. Got you like 1 or 2 playoff wins for the past 5 years. So it's just kind of like he doesn't deserve that. And so and now there's like corners, safeties asking for contracts. There's
especially when you have people like Tom Brady saying no. I'll take $2 million less.
Yeah.
Right.
Pay me less and go get him to play for us.
That's a fucking winner.
Yeah.
And
that's why you can take the pictures like this, like Michael Jordan.
Got the thumb ring, bitch.
5th.
With a team that I got drafted to or got traded to the year before.
When you guys got rid of me and I went and won a
because fucking Tom fucking Brady, man.
And he's coming back.
And he can fucking golf. Remember I showed you that video the other day? Hole in one, nigga, from like 400 yards away.
That's crazy.
He's an angel.
He's the best. He's the GOAT. He's the greatest
like a
quarterback.
Literal
he's so good.
Angel from heaven.
And he's
like you want to hate him so bad.
Yeah, I hated him.
You have to. It's like Michael Jordan.
You have to hate him.
Bryant.
You know who else I hated? Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Because I'm a Suns fan.
You have to hate Kobe Bryant. I told him, man, I was like, I had to hate him. I couldn't like
Everybody, at one point, if you're a fan of the sport, you hated Troy Polamalu.
Yes.
Hated him because he was so good.
The Steelers so much. They were like the Warriors of the NFL.
Yeah. I hated Troy Polamalu because he was so good, and I hated Tom Brady because he was so good.
I hated Ben.
Because I used to be do you remember I used to be a Jets fan?
Yeah.
And I was, and then fucking the Patriots.
Goddamn Jets.
You the only nigga I know who had a Mark Sanchez jersey.
Mark Sanchez was okay.
You the only nigga I know who had that jersey. I don't know anybody with a Jets jersey ever.
Mark Sanchez, like, he wasn't bad. He let
was he solid? Was he a solid player?
He was a role player. He did his thing. He let, because we had we.
I'm back in it now.
That's NFL. When niggas
Right.
are saying we, you know what we do, man?
No, because they had the Jets, LaDainian Tomlinson, and they had Santonio Holmes. They had Jericho Cotchery. We had a squad. We even had a left tackle named DeBrickashaw Ferguson.
The Burgershaw.
His
The one
name.
who started it all. He's the one who started it all.
Yeah.
His name.
DeBrickashaw. That's his name. DeBrickashaw, and he was a beast.
He has to be. He be fucking people up with that name.
The brick wall. And so, and then on defense, you had Bart Scott, you had Antonio Cromartie and Darrell Revis Island.
That's our boy back in DC.
Darrell Revis,
We loved us some Darrell Revis.
he was an animal. If you were like playing at the park or some shit and you were a corner, Revis Island. That's the first thing you said. But yeah, the Jets, I've said this before, but there's an alternate universe where they won the Super Bowl. The year that Aaron Rodgers won with the Packers when they beat the Steelers, which crazy is that they won the Super Bowl when we were leaving Florida. When we went to go see you, I think you were getting your tonsils pulled out.
Yeah.
That's when we went to Florida. It was that time of the year. Literally, we were at the airport, didn't get to see the fucking Super Bowl, Menda, because of you. I was so mad. The entire time on the flight home, I'm like, what's the fucking score? Oh, I was so mad.
That happened to me too when the Patriots and the Falcons played. I got on a plane in Atlanta, and I was like, "Oh, motherfucking Patriots lost." Landed, and then the Patriots were the Super Bowl champions. And I landed in Phoenix.
Yeah,
and the
we
Patriots
were
Super Bowl champions.
I was watching that Super Bowl with Josh, the Falcons and Patriots, and then the entire till the third quarter, we were like, "Damn, Tom Brady's done. He's gonna retire.
Oh, fuck
He's
no.
getting the shit beat out of him, 28-3."
28 I was sitting at the bar drinking. I was like, 28-3. God damn, Tom Brady, you done, son.
28-3 with 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Like, you got a quarter left. 28-3.
He brought that shit.
He brought that shit
back.
way back. Overtime. Boom. Touchdown.
They said when he was in that huddle, he was like, he was not playing.
Right.
He was not-
Y'all
Like, you guys
get
better
it.
fucking do your thing, or you'll be on the practice squad tomorrow.
Right.
But he take care of his team. They said when they win, he'd be like, everybody getting a rollie. Here you go.
Everybody.
Everybody's getting a rollie. There you go.
But anyways, let's get into these movies though.
Yes.
You had a top 5?
I do have top 5
So do I. Let's do this,
for
Menda.
football.
What is your number 5? The 5th best fifth.
My number 5 is The Blind Side.
Wow.
Because I think it's just so first of all, it's a true story.
Of course.
Second of all, Sandra Bullock,
Yeah, Michael Orr
Michael Orr.
played for the Ravens. He's a fucking champion, Menda.
And it's so sweet, you know.
Yeah.
It was just like a great story. And the movie itself is a good movie.
It is entertaining.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, that's his blind side.
Right. And they were like, yeah, we own 5 Taco Bells.
That's right.
It's like, what?
Yeah, because I remember when that movie came out, Michael Orr was still playing. And so it was like a big deal. Like he was playing for the Ravens, and then he won a Super Bowl. I want to say it was Tatiana's texting me. Time is it 1:17? Hold on. Let's take a break. Not a break, but pause.
Pause. We're on a pause anyways, babe, so you can come back.
Tatiana texted.
Oh, okay.
And so I took, that was like 5 seconds. But, see that right there? That's the quarterback. You protect his blind side. That's all I remember for that movie.
And when he saved
The kid in the car
with
crash?
his arm,
Yeah.
he's like, you're a natural protector. And I was like,
Do you know what his test score said?
damn.
That's his blind side. I love the Southern accent.
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Central
That's why It's great.
I
Yeah,
like Sandra Bullock as a blonde too. I was like,
yeah,
ooh.
she bad. Not gonna lie,
I was
Sandra
like,
Bullock
you look
Sandra
good.
Bullock.
with some bangs.
Got it.
I
And she
love it.
was like hard ass.
Yeah.
Like, nah, you ain't gonna treat him like that.
Like Toby Keith.
But,
That was him, huh?
But yeah, The Blind Side. I've only seen it once when it came out,
Mm-hmm.
but like I was like, oh, a movie about Michael Orr. I didn't know his story. I was just watching football.
Mm-hmm.
But then I remember like it came out, and then like the next game, it was like, oh, Michael Orr has a movie about him,
Mm-hmm.
about his story, which is a crazy story. But like he's a Super Bowl champion
Yeah.
too. After the movie, he became a champion.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty cool.
With the Ravens?
Yeah, when they won in 2012
Mm-hmm.
or 2011 season, but the Super Bowl was in 2012
Mm-hmm.
when they beat the Niners, when the power went out.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
That's wild.
Yeah, and then Jacoby Jones.
Was it mid throw?
No, it was mid like when the 49ers were having a comeback.
Yes.
So people accused the Ravens of
Oh
like,
yeah. I remember
They're
that.
like-
so they like stopped their momentum.
And DCB was like, yeah, them niggas would do that shit.
Yeah, they turned off the power, and then it stopped the 49ers like momentum, like they were
Yeah.
on a run.
Mhm.
And then
How much of football is momentum?
a lot. I mean, look at the fucking 28-3 with the Patriots.
Right.
Like, there's something about, there's like a huge energy
Yeah.
to like, oh shit, things flip like that. Like, cause that's the beauty of football, is like people will not score, but like you see an interception and that'll like, cause did you watch The Replacements?
Yeah.
When he talks about what's it called? Quicksand. When he said when Gene Hackman, this is my favorite scene. When Gene Hackman had everybody in the locker room, and he was like, "What are your guys' fears?" And they were like, "Oh, I'm afraid of spiders, whatever."
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, and then Keanu Reeves,
Mm-hmm.
Shane Falco.
Woo.
That's a cool name.
That's such
Shane
a cool
Falco.
name.
That name was like, I was like, who thought of that? Was super smart.
Shane Falco, number
Damn.
16.
Right.
Living on a boat, nigga.
And that entire movie.
Also, that was my number 4, so we can go ahead.
That was my that was my number 1.
Very fair.
But
Replacements is it's funny.
Yeah.
it's
great.
Heartwarming.
it's all of it, and it's a sick fucking, just like, it takes the tropes of like football movies, but it's just like it does it in a cool, fun way. And but the soundtrack, everything is like stuck in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why it's great.
It's so like indie, like rock, like I'm just a kid, like those kind of songs are
Yeah.
the entire
Tonight will be the night.
the entire. But it is a cool movie. But back to what I was talking about momentum in football.
Mm-hmm. The quicksand.
Quicksand, when Keanu Reeves, when Shane Falco is like, I'm afraid of quicksand, and then the guy is like, oh no, that shit'll get you, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gene Hackman is like, no, what do you mean by that?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I'm afraid of like when you're losing in a football game, the harder you try to come out of that hole, the deeper you go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what football is like. Like when you're throwing picks and you're getting sacked and you're not getting a lot of yards, like you're getting 3 and outs like for the past 4 drives, and then eventually you'll start throwing 60-yard throws, and then that'll get picked off. Like the more you try to get out of that, like there's that kind of momentum in football where it's just like sometimes it's just like not your day
Right.
at all. And that's the beauty of like the playoffs. And that's like the difference between like baseball, basketball, and hockey, is that like they have like game 6, game 7, you know, 4 out of 7. But in football,
One
you get one game,
game.
and you have a week of prep. But like that's why people love March Madness, because it's college basketball, but you got one game. And that's why it's like you could be ranked out of the 16 teams, you could be the worst team on that thing. But if you get like, there's an entire 30 for 30 documentary. You could be ranked 16 and it'll just be your fucking month. Like you're just
beating the power Duke.
you're
fucking-
beating Kentucky, you're beating Arizona, you're beating the best fucking team, and you're like, holy shit.
Final four guarantees usually.
Right.
And you're like, holy shit, we're in the Final Four already. Like
Baylor when
There's-
Davidson when Curry went there.
yeah.
You might know who they were. They were like, who?
And you're just like, holy shit, like we're already here. But like that's the thing with a good example of momentum in football is the Carolina Panthers in 2016. They didn't have, they went like 15-1 that year.
Jeez.
But they went 15-0, but they lost their last game because they pulled out their starters. But they went 15-0. They were the best fucking team in the NFL. But then like they ended up going to the Super Bowl that year, playing the Broncos against Peyton Manning. But it's like you're playing Peyton Manning.
Right.
Fucked up.
Right.
Defensively and offensively, they were.
And also, it was one of those. It's like we've been here before.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning's
Peyton
been
Manning's
there.
won a fucking championship.
Right.
before. This is his second time going to the Super Bowl as a Bronco. He lost the first time to the Seahawks. He got the shit beat out of him. but that was because they had the Seahawks had the Legion of Boom, and they fucking had Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor. They had Brandon Browner, Bobby Wagner. I could probably name every person on the defense. But Michael Bennett at the end. But yeah, like when you have momentum like the Carolina Panthers did, it's just like sometimes it's just not like your day.
Right.
On the Super Bowl.
Right.
You have Cam Newton won MVP that year. And he was just he was a beast. But then when you arrive, you're like, oh shit, this is a Super Bowl. Because eventually momentum, like that high, like luck runs out.
Yeah.
In a way. I'm not saying 15 games is luck, but I'm
Right.
just saying, you know.
The momentum you get, like you
Once
start
you-
getting comfortable.
Yeah, once you get to the end, you're like, oh, we're playing Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl.
You
That's
realize
like,
you come to the realization like, oh shit, we're here.
yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah,
What happens now?
Because what they were riding on was like they did have a good team, but it was like what they were riding on is just like other teams were like, oh shit, they're 15-0. Like oh shit, they're 13-0. The entire season, they're like, that's the undefeated team. This is their year,
Right.
going in to the games, and then but Peyton Manning, he's
Like
been
I
there.
got this.
He's like, I've dealt with people like you before. So, but yeah, the replacements, that whole quicksand thing is a
That's
real
great.
thing.
It's a great movie.
And obviously playing football
Yeah.
is watching football movies, as far as like the coaching and the replacements, how Gene Hackman is probably the best I've seen as far as like being a football coach.
Yeah. He was good.
And I'll just say my number 5 was The Longest Yard, the Adam Sandler one.
Yes, that was a good one. That was one of my
What was that?
like honorable mentions.
Yeah, The Longest Yard. That was one I seen when I was little, and it's just funny.
It's funny.
And and because I watched the original and the new one, and that I want to say that was the first time. Because when did that movie come out? The Longest Yard. That came out
The original one.
2005.
Yeah, how about I say 3 or 4? I was saying.
2005. So I was young when I saw it, and that was the first time I found out that movies can be like remade. There can be a remake of a movie, and I was like, it just changed how I thought. And then I watched the 1974, the Burt Reynolds one, and then I was, because the reason why I found out is because Burt Reynolds is in the 2005 one.
Yes.
And then Dad was like, he was the original Adam Sandler, like in The Longest Yard, and I was like, what do you mean?
Right. What is that?
And he was like, there was another Longest Yard in 1974 where Burt Reynolds played Paul Crewe, and it was like, it wasn't even like a comedy for real, like
It was more like drama.
it was like football.
Yeah.
And it was cool, but I like this one better because it's funny, because it's like Chris Rock is there, he has like SNL people there with him,
Nelly's there.
and it's just like fun, and like you have the great Khali on
Terry Crews, where he's doing his
the
shit.
McDonald's
cheeseburger.
shit. Yeah. And it's just like, it's so much fun. And then like even the guards, like you have Goldberg, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Exactly.
Like you have like these cool fucking people.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Bosworth, isn't that a former Seattle Seahawk
Yeah.
in the 80s?
Like you have a legit football team
Yeah.
that you're going against, like the guards.
Yeah, the guards versus the fucking inmates, and it's just cool.
The
And then
quarterback, I liked him. What was his name?
the I don't know his name.
I just know him from the movie Date Night with Tina Fey and Adam Carell.
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell. I don't know why I'm saying that. It's so weird. Steve Carell.
But yeah, The Longest Yard, I just think it's so fun to watch, and like,
And it'll make you cry.
yeah, that Chris Rock scene
Oof.
is crazy.
That was I remember I was like
like
what the
shocked.
fuck?
Yeah,
I was like, what is going on?
I was like, this shit just got real.
I
But
said,
yeah,
over football? Y'all over a prison league?
yeah, because like fucking that scene. If you haven't seen The Longest Yard, go see it.
Yeah, like what are you doing with your life?
Yeah, it's one of the literally our top 5 football movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny as fuck.
Also, Joey Diaz is in there. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Stan,
Someone give me a Diet Coke.
you can sit down, Tony. Thank God.
And then the Great Khali.
The Great Khali is in there. He breaks the dude's nose.
Mm-hmm. He's like, he broke my nose.
I think he did it on purpose.
He just fucking just like.
He's like, yeah.
Is-
He's like, no, I don't think so.
What's your number 4, Minda?
My number 4 was The Replacements.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that movie?
I could put it on anytime.
It seems like I would guess like on paper that'd be your number 1 because of like your early 2000s
Oh
vibe.
yeah, yeah.
Like I can tell that's like a favorite of yours.
Definitely
Because of like
go
the era of filmmaking. That
Mm-hmm. Definitely was up there for me. But then when I actually looked at all the movies, like football movies, I was like, okay, I gotta switch these around.
Yeah.
But definitely one of the best. I mean, the concept alone, like them being like scabs because they're going in,
Yeah.
you know, as
During
the replacement.
And it's cool because it's like during a strike, a
Mhm.
player's holdout. And they're
Yep.
like, okay, we need to keep playing.
Yep.
Or shout out to DC.
Mm-hmm.
And fucking that whole movie was shot in actually like at FedEx Field and shit.
Yeah.
Which is pretty dope. Like
Mhm.
if you look on I looked up on IMDb, it was all shot actually in the DMV.
That's cool.
Like there was one scene in like Richmond, and there's like I think there's only one scene in Richmond, and then there's like Baltimore locations, and then there's actual DC locations. I was like, damn, they really shot this shit on location.
That's cool.
They went to Baltimore's stadium, and they
Mhm.
went to the Redskins stadium, and I was
Mhm.
like, damn, or the Commanders,
What was it?
Yeah.
the Commanders
I
stadium.
remember the stadium looking like our DC United stadium. That's what it looked like to me.
But like even when they're like when the new cheerleaders had to come in.
Yeah, the dance.
Yeah, she's like dancing. It's just like all of those things.
It was just like a perfect.
hilarious.
Yeah, it's well rounded the whole movie.
And then it was super funny.
yeah.
Like great. I think one of my favorite scenes is like when they're in the jail and they start dancing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Like,
when they
first
all
I
start
was
doing
afraid.
the.
I was petrified.
Which the fucking Pam from The Office, her husband, that works in the warehouse
Mhm.
before Jim, he plays the deaf tight end,
Yes.
and I was like, he was in this movie.
Yes.
And I thought that was crazy. That's
And-
what I picked up when I watched it this week.
Mm-hmm. And then still like heartfelt, like
Mhm. There's still like emotional
moments.
connection to like
Mhm.
the characters, like you care about each one of them, and I just think it's really the way they and John Favreau being like the SWAT team member, and they put him at linebacker.
Yes. He's like, all right, calm down. He's like, I just see red.
But I think John Favreau was great.
Hilarious.
That movie.
Speaking of John Favreau, we watched Iron Man,
Back to Marvel,
the first one.
the first one.
We were like, oh my God, he's so young. He's so skinny.
Did John Favreau? I don't know what I'm talking about.
But the replacements,
My number 4, Minda, is Gridiron Gang with The Rock. I'm 88.
that was one of my
Honorable mention.
honorable mentions.
Gridiron Gang, Go
Gridiron gang.
Mustangs. When I went to North High School, I was like, oh,
We gridiron.
we gridiron gang. That movie is so crazy. Like
It is.
how like it's not that Gridiron Gang is not like any other football movie. Like as like the story they're telling, it was based on a true story.
Yeah, first it was based off a true story. Secondly, The Rock, when this was like
This
the
was, like,
very beginning.
The beginning when The Rock was like, "Oh, you want to see me do these roles?"
Yeah.
Like
And
the
then him doing
football coach. Yes, it's like
Duh.
perfect. And like when they all start doing their helmets on the floor,
I was like, oh shit.
like that's so good. And just like it's all perfect.
Yeah. It was a great movie. And they're like the boys in the detention center
Yeah.
and all of that.
You were goddamn 88. that movie. Oh,
It is a good movie.
it's a very nostalgic movie for
Yeah.
me.
It's a good movie.
And I love
Good
I love Gridiron Gang. It's one of my favorite movies with The Rock.
Mhm.
One of my favorite movies that he's done. Because we were heavy on The Rock
Oh yeah.
before anybody.
Very, very much so.
I mean, he was a superstar. I don't want to say before anybody, but like
I mean,
we were heavy on all of his movies. Like
Oh, yeah.
every movie we had on
well,
DVD.
first of all, we were heavy with just The
Wrestling.
Rock in general with wrestling. So
yeah,
that
we,
was like,
we were a big WWE household for about 20 years.
yeah.
From my brother when he was little, and then when I grew up,
Hmm.
and then when I found out what wrestling was, it was
Mhm.
like
Another reason why you like the longest yard.
it had wrestlers in there.
Mhm.
It had Stone Cold in there, the Great Khali,
Hmm.
probably more that I can't think of right now.
Was
But-
Goldberg in there?
Goldberg was in there, and then it had old football players in
Mhm.
there, and then I had I know Brian Bosworth was in there, and I just can't think of like the entire cast.
Yeah, there's a
Awesome.
lot. But great.
Nelly was in there. Tracy Morgan was in there.
Mhm.
Oh, Bill Romanowski was in there. He was an old Philadelphia Eagle. Kevin Nash was in there. He was one of the guards. Yeah, the Great Khali, Joey Diaz was in there. I didn't know who Joey Diaz really was back
At the
then.
time, yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of people. It was really
Mhm.
cool. But anyways, your number 4? Your number
Number 3.
I already said my number 4. Yeah, your number 3.
Remember the Titans.
That's my number 2.
It's such a good movie.
Oh my God.
It's such a good
Because
movie.
you know who was like Denzel in the movie? Coach Buskin,
Mm.
my high school football coach.
He was like,
He was just like him,
mhm.
and that's why I love that movie.
He's like, we're a team.
Yeah, like he was just by the book.
Mm-hmm.
You dress up in a polo or a suit
Mm-hmm.
on game day.
Yep.
You don't fucking like. There's no flashy shit here. We're here to play football, and that's exactly how Coach Buskin was. He like, you're here. This is like a bit like you're here to look professional.
Right.
Like I'm here to make you into a man. I'm not here to
Mhm.
make you into a great football player. You're here to be a man. And like that's honestly the best role for Denzel, for him to be doing
Yeah.
that. Like I don't think anybody else could have done that role. That's a bit like Denzel, that was him.
That was great. Yeah, he was
And-
perfect.
And just like and that's kind of what if you're thinking about being a football coach like at all, or if you are a
Mhm.
football coach and you just need to see Remember the Titans.
Yeah.
Because that movie, god damn, is that movie good. And that shit, and I've talked about that movie on here even before this episode. Like
Mhm.
that whole movie, that whole movie
The whole movie.
was like 8 weeks. That's a football, like
Yeah.
high school football
Yeah.
season. And how much those people changed.
Mm.
Like decades, centuries of like, don't let them in our schools.
Yep.
And then fucking
Yep.
the football team's 4-0.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck. These are my brothers.
Right.
Like these, like this is my, like they football
Brought us together.
because that's the thing about football and why it's my favorite sport, why I played it, is because it's the only sport in the world that you have to, in order to succeed, every single person on the team has to do their job.
Mm-hmm.
Because if one person doesn't do their job, it messes up everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because it evolves, like every single person has to do their job. Because in basketball, you could give the Curry the ball every single play, or you could have Curry and Klay Thompson, shoot threes all game and you'll win.
Mm-hmm.
And then all you have to do is like play some half-ass defense. You could play half-ass in basketball and still win.
Yeah.
Then because the rest of the team might cover for you. Or soccer, you could not touch the ball all game. Baseball, you could be sitting out in the outfield and the ball won't come to you all game.
Right.
Like there's games where you cannot do something. But in football, if you're a left guard and you don't do something, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You're getting taken out the game. Or if you're a wide receiver, you have to run your route fully or else it messes up the entire play.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why football, that's why it's so hard to play, because it's so intricate.
Mm-hmm.
There's like so much detail in every single position on the offense and defense. There's so much mental game to it, intimidation.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a big deal. And
like you said, energy. I mean, you have a group of people that are supposed to be together. If 3 out of the 15 feel like, oh, we're not gonna fucking make it, that'll eventually get to the point where it's like everybody's like, all right, fuck it.
That's why you have those teams that are, all of them are like bros. All of them are like, woo, woo, woo. They're like fucking frat boy energy. They all have to be like that. Because if a couple of them are like, no, we kind of suck, dude, then like that energy spreads, and then that gets into people's heads, and it's like, oh, maybe we're not like you have to all be on the same page, or else. That's why there's chemistry,
right? Which is why, like, remember the Titans, it's like, no, you're not gonna stay with your group of friends, you're gonna stay with your position, because that's who you need to be.
You're gonna go to school with another player in the same position. You're gonna and that's why when they were at that camp, they were like, you're gonna sit down with another player of the opposite race, and you're gonna find out everything about him. You're gonna get one fact of what's you're gonna know his favorite food, you're gonna know his favorite color, because you have to know that. You
need to get to know these people on a personal level, because this is your team, this is the person that you're depending on.
Because me, like, personally going to football camp, if you didn't go to football camp and you're on the team, there is that connection.
It's not really there.
There's just like, you're just on the team. You didn't go through what we had, because football camp, that shit sucks. Like, it is the word. Like Coach Buskin, he was like, I've had players be like, I went to football camp 3 years with Coach Buskin, and then he joined the Marines, and he was like, boot camp didn't feel like shit because of how Coach Buskin does his football camp. That's shit's a week straight of doing 4 days where you get 2 hours of sleep, an hour or two of sleep between, and then once you wake up, go run fucking a mile. And then, but if you mess up, you have to start all over. If you mess up on the third lap, you gotta reline up. You have to stay on the same page. It's like a fucking boot camp. It's like, but when you go through that for a week straight in the middle of nowhere, because we went out to New Mexico, we went out to in the middle of the fucking Payson or whatever, on these like colleges that are out of school, or high schools that are out of school right now, summer break, and we were like laying down, we were falling asleep in the gym, in the basketball court, and so like when you go through that together as a team, and you build that bond of eating lunch together, eating dinner together for a week straight, and just sleeping together, and then you go play football together, there's just that energy to it. And then, but like, say, because you do that during the summer, but when you go start, and then the school starts, the school year starts, and then someone walks onto the team, there's that disconnect where it's just like, you weren't here all summer with us,
right? You
weren't practicing with us when it was 120 out. Like, there's that,
literally 120 degrees outside. Like,
you have to, like, you weren't waking up at 3-4 in the morning with us when we had to fucking. So there's a lot that goes into that. You have to have that camaraderie. So Remember the Titans is my number 2, because purely because of how real it was. When it came to that connection, and how strong that connection was, because it was based on a true story, but how strong that connection can be, so much of literally ending racism in a town. Right. Like, a football team is like, oh, this shit doesn't matter. Like, we care about football more than hating another person for the color of their skin. So all I'm saying is, if you're a transsexual, start a football team, and you will get the rights you want.
He's not lying. You're watching a bunch of women who used to be men tackle each other.
There are women's leagues for football too.
Mm-hmm.
Still sexist
Like-
though.
But if
Tackle
you
football.
start a football team, just grind it out 3 yards at a time, just like 3 yards in a cloud of dust,
Mm-hmm.
just like hard-nosed football. You could if you can upset Alabama, you probably
wild.
you'll get acceptance through all of society. That's what Remember the Titans did.
Is it?
So yeah, that movie's so great. I love that movie because as a movie, yeah, it's a Disney movie that taught you this fucking lesson. So if you like this, so like watching this as a kid, you're like, this shit is like real, and then I don't know, that shit's so good. But,
And I think we watched it in school too.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
I think we watched
I
it.
need
in
to go-
school.
That's like a prime racism movie.
Yeah.
Like when you're talking about racism, they're like, yeah, play this movie.
Sorry, guys.
That also like speaking of Denzel. Not Denzel. He wasn't in that. We Are Marshall.
We Are Marshall. Yeah. I think that was Matthew McConaughey.
Yes. It was Anthony Mackie. He was in it.
Yeah, Anthony Mackie.
That was a sad story. I remember hearing about that as a kid.
About the story of We Are Marshall.
Mm-hmm. Because I think it was in Virginia. West Virginia.
West Virginia.
Yeah. Yeah, that made its way up here.
All right. I'm all out of water. I had, you know those peas where it's like you're peeing and then you think it's about to end, but it just keeps going.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about, Rob? Where like you're peeing and you think it's about to end, but it just goes on, and you're like, "Fuck."
You're like prostate cancer. That's what I think.
I'm just like, God damn, this just keeps going and going and going, and you pee for like 30, 40 seconds. But my number 3, Menda, is Invincible
Invincible. Okay.
Ooh, okay,
With
Marky Mark.
with Mark Wahlberg.
That was one of my.
Which one is that one for you?
Tell me what I thought about when you said Invincible. Tell me what show I thought about.
Which one?
Always Sunny.
Yes.
Oh,
It's just like Invincible.
Oh my God. Yes.
But yeah, Invincible. It's like Rocky, but football.
Yeah, it's one of my honorable mentions.
Yeah, I fucked with
He's like, he's just a regular guy.
when I play. Because this shit is based on a true story too.
Yeah.
All these movies are based on true stories.
They are.
We were just talking
That's
about.
what makes football so cool, though. Because all the movies, you're like, yeah, radio. Even radio's a real story.
Rudy, real story.
Real story.
3 out of the
We Are Marshall.
Real
story. Fucking
Come
shit.
on now,
God
man.
damn.
We were talking about it while you were gone.
We Are Marshall.
Yeah.
I was. That's crazy. We Are Marshall. That's
That's
sad
So
Heavy.
sad.
that that's based on a true story.
Yeah.
I wish that wasn't.
So sad.
But R.I.P. to all those guys. But Invincible, this was my movie when I first started playing football.
That was your number 2?
This is my number 3.
Oh, number 3.
I already said Remember the Titans is 2, Replacements is 1.
Okay.
But Invincible is my number 3 because that was my movie. And when I first started playing football in Pop Warner, when I was in 5th grade,
Mm-hmm.
and literally I was a beast because I was bigger than everybody.
Yep.
And I played defensive tackle, so I was right up in the fucking murky waters. And so, because even in high school, I was the fastest lineman, like in the division. like we like had little competitions, the tournaments, and we did like the relays and shit, and the 40-yard dashes and all the camps that I went to. It was like I was always like the top 5 in the division of like the fastest linemen, and all the other ones were like the superhumans in high school, where they're like 6'4" and they had the longest legs in the world. But I was like 5'11". I was just fucking. But I ran a 4.8 in high school, but I never did a 40 until high school. But like in 5th grade, I was still faster than all the linemen. So they put me at defensive tackle because like my reaction time, I was right next to the football. So right when they snap it, I'd fucking like jump between. I would like jump.
You're like, I'm in there.
I would literally like
I'm in there.
right when the center. And these are like 5th graders.
Yeah.
Like think about a 5th grader snapping a football. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so like right when the fucking thing moves, you know where like that reaction time came from? Video games.
Mm-hmm.
So like right when
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
So right when that football just moves, because I won't get in trouble. Like if he moves a little bit, it's his fault.
Yeah.
Like if the ball moves, you can go. But like all I did was look right at the ball, and right when it moves, I jump between the linemen and just fucking get a sack.
Yep.
But every time I got a sack, I would do what he did in Invincible, where he got the tackle on kickoff. But every time I got a sack, my dad would be in the crowd, and I would like,
That's for you, baby.
I would point at my dad every single time. Then I was like, because of Invincible.
Yeah.
And that's why I care about Invincible. He's just a regular guy.
Just a regular guy.
But where are we at, Rob?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a
Okay.
half. Let's end it.
We're at 2 hours.
Well, my
No
number.
way.
Well, let me
Hour
do.
55.
Let me do my number 2.
Okay.
Was Waterboy.
I knew you were gonna have that in there
You
somewhere.
got to.
I was
Number
like,
2.
because I didn't have it in mind. It was my honorable mentions, but go.
Waterboy.
That's iconic.
So
Waterboy.
it's my second producer tag.
Bobby Boucher.
It's
Bobby
me,
Boucher.
your daddy, Roberto. That's my dad. It's me, your daddy.
My
Roberto.
mama said.
My mama said.
I think that's great. I love the Louisiana like swampy, like just theme of it, and
Yes.
it's just like, it's
All
just
the music in the back was all of that too.
The
It was
banjo.
Like banjo music.
Especially when they showed up to the house, like every
Oh
time.
my god, him on the fucking
In the fucking-
lawnmower
yeah.
and it speeds off.
Like,
But
Down
Vicky
the street.
Valancourt, my mama said.
but
And-
yeah, Bobby Boucher is iconic.
yeah.
That's like,
You want me to cut their heads off?
and that's also like Adam Sandler, like prime era,
Yeah.
like just coming off of SNL, like
So he's at his like
doing
Yep.
his movies.
Yep. And all of his like friends,
His
like Rob
his Happy
Schneider.
Madison
Yeah.
days,
that
where it's like,
started. Waterboy is a great.
It's a
movie.
classic.
Yes.
It's refreshing.
but
It was so
like when you're playing
random.
football, there's gonna be like say you're practicing and you go and get water, there's not one time where someone doesn't say it's high quality H2O. and just one person's gonna say it. That's how
Oh my God. Gatorade.
It's high quality H2O.
These are waters from an Alaskan shaman.
But what's your number one, Menda?
My number 1 was Any Given Sunday, which I just rewatched last night.
All of it? You watched 2.5 hours of Al Pacino. Oh.
I rewatched it last night, fell asleep, and then I finished it this
Oh,
morning.
okay. I was about to say.
Because I was like, I have
That's
to.
the
I
only
have to
reason
see
why
the
I
ending.
rarely watch that movie is because it's so fucking long.
It's long, but I rewatched it this morning. Just the ending part, because the ending is like
That's the part.
where it's
that
at.
speech. You look at the guy next to you.
The Al Pacino speech. First of all of his speeches, I was like, this is why you're a fucking coach.
Yeah.
But
One of the best football coaches. I should have got that list
yeah,
of like who's the best out of all of our lists. Who's the best coach? Probably Denzel or Al Pacino.
yeah, because at the
Gene
end,
Hackman is at 3 though. At number 3, but Al Pacino is number 2. Denzel number 1.
right? Because
Not Archie Bunker. What's his name from Waterboy?
The Fonz.
Yeah.
the Fonz.
Yeah.
But number one is
Remember the Titans. First of all, Jamie Foxx, LL Cool
or
J.
Any Given Sunday.
Any Given Sunday.
Willie Beeman.
Yeah.
You got LL Cool J.
LL Cool J.
The Sharks. Like, how cool are their uniforms and their mascot?
Yeah.
Like,
there was a guy on the team named the Shark with gold teeth.
It's so dope. That whole movie.
It was great. It was great. It was
Jamie. That's one of my favorite Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, that was like one of his first.
That's one of. I would consider that a breakout role.
Breakout role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it came out. That actually, since we're doing it right after, I'm gonna go and come back. The '99 draft. Any Given Sunday might be a topic of conversation.
Right.
Because that was literally like Jamie Foxx in supporting role behind like Cameron Diaz and Al Pacino.
Yep.
And everybody there. That was a star-studded.
We'll talk about 99.
Yeah.
But thank you guys.
Next week, you're gonna get the '99 draft, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, we'll go into Any
Just
Given
the
Sunday.
year, the Y2K vibes of like everybody was trying to get their best movie out.
Woo!
But yeah,
That's what it felt like.
yeah.
All right.
Let's
Because
wrap it up.
none of
I gotta
this
go.
really matters.